Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. Game week 14 is upon us, so we're going to have to rush through and try and get as many videos as we can before the deadline because it's coming up fast, guys. So yeah, we're going to be doing a Game Week 14 team selection video for you today. We're going to go through my scores from last week and my transfer plans, captaincy plans, and lineup plans for the coming game week as well. So there we go, guys. If you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like, and of course, if you're new around here as well, please do subscribe. Massively helps out the channel, and of course you get great FPL content every single day this week anyway, because we're going absolutely crazy with it. But guys, before we go any further, a quick word from our sponsor today, which is of course OneFootball, the regular sponsor of this series. Now, OneFootball is a great mobile app / website for all things football. Whenever you want to check out the scores, the lineups, the stats, all of it's all in one place. It's a really good kind of companion app to have alongside whilst you're watching the football, to check out on what's going on around the world of football. Also sports news on there as well if you want to check that out. You know, transfer rumours, this, that and the other. Always interesting, particularly see what Newcastle might be up to in the coming months. So go check it out, completely free. Link in the description, guys. So I have in front of us now, guys, my Game Week 13 scores. A total score of 60, a rank drop, but a kind of a weird rank drop because although I did technically go down 14 places, I actually found that I've actually got green arrows in most of my mini leagues. I've cut the the points between me and first place has shrunk this week, and it's kind of strange because although I've kind of rank dropped, I'm actually closer to the top 100. I'm closer to first. I've gone up in mini leagues. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if this is a good week or a bad week, really. It's probably somewhere in between, an okay week, a game week that we survived, and it is a good game week. It's a good fact that we did survive the game week because there were a couple of issues, namely Foden and Kane. Kane, obviously the game getting cancelled because of the snow. First time that's happened in, I think, 11 years. That was the last time a Premier League game has been cancelled because of snow. So a real strange occurrence, a bit of the luck factor. And guys, if you have multiple Spurs or Burnley players in your team, I really do feel bad for you because that is just bad luck, and you can't put it any other way. It's just bad luck. Foden, maybe not so much bad luck. We knew that there was a chance of there being an injury there, so it's just kind of a shame. I wanted to line up with one striker this game week. I've ended up lining up with two strikers. Both of those strikers I didn't want to start in the first place, but there we go. That's kind of the situation we're dealing with. And also, the very strange thing happened with the defence. So obviously I went with a 5-man defence last week, and I was really excited to see how it goes. Trent did really well. Lamptey played really well, had an absolute phenomenal game. He's honestly, he was certainly the best player on the pitch in that game of Brighton versus Leeds. He really was incredible and playing so far up the pitch, so advanced, basically as a right winger. In fact, he probably was a right winger, like, by definition, in that game. Not even a defender anymore, just a straight up right winger, which is amazing. That's exactly what we want for our defenders. The other defenders, the day two defenders, if you like, Chelsea, City, a lot of us guys are really invested in these players, but really, it's disappointing, but for the right reasons, I guess. So I'm disappointed that the big defence didn't work out, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried because the circumstances in which those clean sheets were wiped was quite unique, really. Cancelo conceding that, 95th minute goal from a Lanzini banger. Like, Lanzini just hits the ball and it just goes in somehow. Nobody really knows. That wipes out Cancelo's clean sheet. It wipes out his bonus points, and that's gone instantly. And it's like, oh my God, okay, fine. We've got the Chelsea versus Manchester United game where Jorginho fails to control the ball basically and just lets Manchester United run through on goal. Really bad mistake from Jorginho, which cost Chelsea the clean sheet. So both of those instances felt to me like freak goals scored, and one goal in each game, both of them quite freak occurrences. So I'm not really too worried. It doesn't make me panic. Definitely those freak occurrences are not going to happen every week. Something that isn't a freak occurrence was Mbumo blanking though. So can I get him out of the team? Can we remove Mbumo somehow? How are we going to deal with this Foden issue? Do I keep Antonio? So many questions to answer, guys. So let's go on to my Game Week 14 plans. So, one free transfer, just 0.4 million in the bank. So, not very much money to play with in the bank here. Let's go through my team. Let's line us up, and then we'll talk about potential transfer moves that we can make. So, let's start off in goal with Ramsdale, an away game against Manchester United. It's not an ideal fixture, don't get me wrong. I'm not too excited about this one from a Ramsdale point of view or from an Arsenal point of view, especially after the Liverpool game a couple of weeks ago. But I do think Arsenal still can do something and can get something out of this game. It wouldn't completely surprise me if Ramsdale were to keep a clean sheet. But more importantly, what we're going to see in this game is Ramsdale making plenty of saves. He does it every game. He keeps landing on 5 saves annoyingly, which is really frustrating because we need 6 saves for the 2 save points, don't we? So really frustrating. I want him just to get the 6th save, and I think he could get it this week. You know, if he can get a few saves and a clean sheet as well, it's a huge score, and that's kind of what we get when a good goalkeeper plays a good team. You get a lot of saves, and if you can seek the clean sheet as well, you're looking at bonus points as well, and you get a really good goalkeeper score. So even in the difficult fixtures, the winnable difficult fixtures, I guess, like this game against Manchester United, it's not too much of a concern for me. I'm happy with Ramsdale. We'll move on to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has now just got this wonderful run of fixtures. I mean, you could probably include Southampton in that. He's doing absolutely amazingly. He's at almost 8 million in value. Yes, a defender getting towards 8 million in value. That's where we are in FPL right now. That's how meta, how important the defenders are to our FPL world. Yeah, so that's going absolutely crazy. He's still popping off. He's still getting assists. He's still getting bonus points. He's still keeping clean sheets. Everything's going well, and how poor Everton have been, particularly with their lack of attacking options right now, it's not looked too good for Everton at all, really. Even with the reintroduction of Doucouré, yes, he has improved the team a little bit, but we are still we're kind of still expecting Everton to be, well, beaten by Liverpool. And who's going to score the goals? Who's going to score the goals for Everton? Really difficult to say right now. So we do expect a clean sheet, and of course, Trent is always good for an assist, maybe even a goal. You never know. Sometimes he likes to chip in with a goal as well. We've got Cancelo, Aston Villa away. Not really sure what to think about Aston Villa at the moment. Obviously under new stewardship. Speaking of Liverpool, Aston Villa, how well are they going to be doing up like for the next few weeks? I don't know. I think they could improve. We have seen them play quite badly. Prior to obviously Dean Smith getting sacked, hence he got sacked. But since then, I'm kind of wondering. What kind of team they're going to be now. What I can say is that Cancelo and Man City are, amazing. So a clean sheet is probably on the cards. City do just look really good for clean sheets every single game week. It's kind of similar deal with Chelsea. Fair enough, they didn't keep the clean sheet last week, but it was unlucky. Like a Lanzini type player is not going to score a goal like that every game. It's a rare occurrence, an occurrence that can only come from a player as enigmatic as Lanzini. So not going to happen every game, really, is it? We do expect lots of clean sheets coming up for City, and Cancelo's going to keep bossing it, getting right up the pitch, basically playing as a midfielder. We love it. We've got Reece James up next. Watford game is something that I'm really looking forward to. This is a game where we have a lot of potential to get some goals. Every time we see a team going up against Watford, you can see a lot of goals going in, can't you? You really can, particularly Foster. Ben Foster is not available at the moment, so that's maybe makes Watford kind of even worse in defence, maybe. And when we're targeting Watford, usually you do go for an attacker, you go for a striker, you go for a forward, a winger, someone like that. But with Chelsea, how do you pick a forward? You can't. You really can't pick a forward. So because the rotation is so heavy around the forwards, basically we need our fullbacks. And the fullbacks at Chelsea contribute most of the goals, to be honest, or involved in most of the goals at least. So Reece James, we're really hoping is going to do some really good business against Watford. Hopefully he can remain in the team. I don't think there's any good reason for him to get rotated, but there is always a possibility. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing what he can do there. And we know how good he is. We know how good a finisher he is. Hopefully he can get into those attacking areas where he didn't have as many chances at Manchester United. I think he's going to get chances again this game. So another big score for him is definitely on the cards. And similarly for Marcus Alonso, our final defender, we're going 4-man defence today. Alonso, a lot of people have said, I think Alonso's going to get rotated. Maybe they looked at the fact that Alonso was substituted as a reason to think that that Alonso's not going to be involved in the following game. I actually thought Alonso played pretty well. I don't think there was anything wrong with Alonso's performances, and I'm sure a lot of Chelsea fans will agree with me there. I don't think there was too much wrong with Alonso's performance, and perhaps the only reason he was substituted off was for tactical reasons, so Chelsea could get an extra attacker on the pitch, like an extra actual midfielder, winger type player on the pitch, rather than a defender style of forward. I don't know what Alonso is these days, to be honest. But they wanted to get an extra fresh pair of attacking legs on, and that's exactly what they did. And I don't think that's any suggestion that Alonso is going to be dropped. I think Alonso fits the system that they're trying to do at Chelsea at the moment, and a system that is very much working, and a system that perhaps would have worked again had it not been for Jorginho's error against Manchester United, which did allow the goal against them. So yeah, basically, I'm not too worried about Alonso. I'm not too worried about James. I think they'll both start the majority of games. You can't expect them to play every game. There's very few players you can expect them to play every game. Everyone's a risk when fixtures start to pile up. Don't worry about that. So, yeah, I'm not going to get in the mindset of worrying, oh, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? He's going to play most games. And when he plays those games, he's going to be good. And that applies to both Alonso and James. So let's move on into midfield. We've got Salah against Everton. Yeah, he's going to be up for this game. Salah, isn't he? Is hopefully going to be another good one. Salah is just phenomenal at the moment, even though Jota did beat him for points last week, which was actually absolutely amazing. I'm really happy I transferred in Jota last week, by the way. I probably should have mentioned that in the last part of the video, but yeah, I didn't. But Jota, what a transfer in. Very happy with that. As for Lamptey as well, a couple of game weeks ago when I brought him in. Really good transfer in. But Salah is the ultimate transfer in. He really is, isn't he? Been in most of our teams since game week 1 for good reason. Still absolutely smashing it. We don't really need to say too much about him. We know it's amazing. Let's move on. We've got Phil Foden. This is an interesting one, and I'm going to circle back to Phil Foden in just a minute and what kind of way we can deal with this. But the problem is right now that there is no information about Foden. It's impossible to find out anything definitive about what is going on. How bad is he injured? Is he in training? I'm really struggled, or at least today I have been struggled this morning and yesterday as well, really struggling to find out any more information. Now I'm sure we will get some more information on Tuesday, tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video. Might even be today for you, but right now as I record this video, I've not got enough information on Foden, so I don't know what's going on, and I wish I did, but I don't. Is he going to be available? Is he not going to be available? Who else is going to be available? These are questions I need to answer. But we'll circle back to this one and finish off the midfield with Jota. With 3-man midfield today. Jota performing fantastically last weekend. You know, he's so hungry. He honestly, he wants to be as good as Salah and Mane. He's not there to be second best. And he wants to play himself into the team and be a long-term, really fantastic attacker for Liverpool. And he's going the right way about it. What a bargain. Pretty much an essential player at this point. Like, you have to buy Jota. I really think you do. The longer you go without Jota, the more you're going to fall behind, I think. And this Everton game is going to be another example of Jota just performing really well. So very excited again to see what he can produce. Hopefully another 10+ point return. That would be very nice, wouldn't it? Up front, we've got Harry Kane. Obviously, he wasn't available for last week, but he will be very well rested at least. And we have seen Brentford actually conceding quite a lot of chances recently. Brentford, you know, we did have a lot of questions. Are Brentford a good defence or are they a bad defence? We didn't really know at the beginning of the season. We're kind of trying to work it out a little bit. But I do think they are probably, in the mid-lower half of defences in the Premier League right now. Again, not looking too good, to be honest. So, particularly, you saw it in the game they played against Everton. In game week 13, they're also conceding a few chances down the middle as well. So I'm wondering if this is going to favour Kane again, chances down the middle and stuff like that. And hopefully this is going to be Kane's opportunity to finally, score some goals in the Premier League. It's about time, right, guys? It's about time. Could this be the week? I know I said this last week, but he didn't even play last week. So hopefully it'll be good. It'll come good. We've got Antonio against Brighton. Brighton have actually kind of slipped defensively a little bit. I've been not worried, but they're not performing as well defensively as perhaps we had hoped. They're still kind of an average Premier League defence, but they're not one of the top Premier League defences at the moment. So I do think there's going to be opportunities for Antonio and any other West Ham players that you may happen to have. I do think there's going to be some opportunities here. Now, there hasn't been opportunities the last couple of game weeks. Antonio, and to be fair, it's not just Antonio. I know we've all got Antonio, or a lot of us have Antonio in our team, so we focus our attention on why isn't Antonio scoring. But that's not really been the situation for the last couple of game weeks for West Ham. It's more been a situation of why aren't West Ham scoring? They've not been getting any chances at all. And Antonio is not performing better or worse than any of the other attackers in that West Ham team. This is not an Antonio problem. This is a West Ham problem. And fair enough, the last game was against Man City. We kind of half expected that. Can they bounce back? Can they get back to the good ways, right? I'm hoping so. We've got a good fixture swing coming up soon. After the Chelsea game, we've got Burnley, Arsenal, and then after that, it is just good fixture after good fixture after good fixture. And if Antonio is playing all those games, he's going to be amazing. I completely understand why people want to remove Antonio, but I do feel a little bit of sympathy for him, and I don't feel like it's an Antonio problem. I feel like it's a West Ham problem, and I don't think West Ham are going to be bad forever because I still think they're one of the best teams in the Premier League. It's only a matter of time before they start proving that again. And when they do, Antonio is going to be a very large part of that. And I have no doubts in my mind about that. It's just a case of, can we be patient? Can we wait for that to happen? Are we going to move Antonio on now? Are we going to bring him back later? Are we going to bring back a different West Ham attacker into our team later, like a Jared Bowen, for example? Completely understand all strategies are viable as far as that's concerned. But, I think I'd rather prioritise my transfers elsewhere. And if I don't want to play Antonio 1 week, I just won't. He's one of those players that as soon as I transfer him out, he's going to score. So we're going to leave that. And we're going to finish off the attack actually going for Broja. Yeah, we're going to start Broja. The reason being is because I actually thought he played pretty well against Liverpool. I think he looked pretty good. To be fair, every time he started for Southampton, he's looked pretty good. And whereas Adam Armstrong has been kind of a little bit wasteful with his chances, Broja does look a little bit more clinical right now. And the fact that he started alongside Armstrong and Adams at the same time in that Liverpool game, I don't know, maybe it kind of makes me wonder a little bit. Is it due to injury? Maybe a little bit. Is it the fact that Broja is actually an important cog in this team as kind of a big man striker? I don't know if you want to call him that, a central striker. I think he occupies that role pretty well. And if he can start again, and I think there's a good chance of him starting again, because I thought he looked really good. I think there's a good reason for every time he starts, he looks good. Southampton need to get back into the swing of things. They really do need to get some points on the board, right? This Leicester game is going to be a good opportunity for that, because Leicester have been diabolical in defence. They really have been letting so many chances through. They've been one of the worst defences, haven't they? They've really been so bad. And although I like their attack a little bit, Leicester, their defence, on the other hand, is just a weak sauce. It's absolute weak sauce. So, yeah, Broja, I really do think that if he gets a couple of chances to score, he's going to take those. Honestly, I think he's a really good player, and I'm excited to see what he can produce, and I'm just really hope he starts against Leicester, because if he does, I am quite confident that he can get a return there. So, going to be happy with that. Of course, I could swap Broja for one of my other players. Let's have a look at my bench now. We got Foster on the bench. He's injured, and I wouldn't play him anyway. But we could swap him with Lamptey. We could play Lamptey. Obviously, I think West Ham will score against Brighton, if I'm honest. But Lamptey, it's not just about clean sheets with him. He's playing as a right winger at the moment, so we could potentially be getting attacking returns for Lamptey as well. And he could have easily had attacking returns last game week, by the way, guys. He was creating so many chances. Really could have had some attacking returns. Was quite unlucky, really, not to have attacking returns. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basically, is with Lamptey, the reason why I like him so much is because he's just a really good attacking player playing in a good attacking position. So don't think of him too much as a defender. Same as, Trent, Cancelo, James, Alonso. Really, we're after goals and assists from those guys, aren't we? That's what we're really looking for. And it's just kind of the same with Lamptey, although on a lesser scale, I suppose. And Bumo, I'm just so disappointed with him at the moment. He can just stay on the bench, and Brownhill's going to stay on the bench as well, as he always does. So there we go, guys. That is the team. Obviously, like I said, I could potentially play Lamptey instead of Broja, but I think I'm leaning towards Broja at the moment. Let's see if we get any more news. There are press conferences going on literally as I record this video, so I'm going to have to catch up on all that. Perhaps we'll discuss that on stream tomorrow or Tuesday, just before deadline. But yeah, as for transfers, there's really only one player I want to remove. And you will probably think, oh, that's Mbeumo, right? But there's nowhere for me to go with Mbeumo. I'm not going to bring in a player worth less than Mbeumo. There is no one worth less than him that he's worth going for. There really isn't. If you're going to transfer out Mbeumo and you have no money in the bank, you may as well just take him to a 4.5 million midfielder, like a Billy Gilmore at 4.4 million or something like that. Obviously, that would ruin the structure of my team, bringing me just to three midfielders of any value left, which is not something I want to do. I do want to have, one midfielder with a little bit of money in on them, so I can move them later to a better midfielder when one inevitably crops up that I quite like to get. So Mbeumo, I think for now, he can just sit on my bench. He's not too expensive. It's not going to break my bank. Having an extra million sat on the bench, it's not a big deal. So that's fine for now. The only real issue here, and like I said, I don't think Antonio is a massive issue. I could do a Broja to a Dennis or a King. I would quite like to do that, in fact, but they have terrible fixtures. They're playing Chelsea next and City after that. So don't want to do that yet. There's no point in doing that transfer yet. Broja, if he plays against Leicester, actually could be pretty good, which kind of leaves us with either not making a transfer, rolling the transfer, or the other option is Foden. Now, Foden is a problem. He's playing really, really wide, and he is also injured. Two big problems. When he's playing out wide, the last 2 games he's played in that left wing position, and he's only had 1 shot in each of those games. I think it's a total of something like 0.08 expected goals over the course of 2 games. So really, really poor stats. He's just not. He's just playing too wide. He's not there. He's not in the box enough. Maybe he's in the box a little bit, but not compared to some of the other players. Not compared to your like Gundogan's and your Bernardo Silvas, who's technically playing deeper, yet still getting into the box and into those dangerous areas more often than Foden. Kind of a problem. So I don't want him on the wing. If he's on the wing permanently, I don't want him in my FPL team. It makes him a worse FPL asset, unfortunately. But also, he's injured and we can't find out what's going on with the injury. How long is he going to be out for? Is he going to be gradually eased back into this team? Is he just being rested? Hopefully we're going to get some more information over the next 24 hours. But until then, what do we assume? Do we assume he's injured? Do we just not take the risk and just assume he's injured? But also, I want to know what this injury situation is with other players. And basically, I've come down to a situation where if we can find out that Foden is basically the only option to play at centre forward. So if I know Foden is available and I know Foden has a real strong chance of playing through the middle, and, you know, we've seen Man City kind of playing, you know, like a Mahrez in the middle, which, I mean, it was okay, but, you know, I'm sure they prefer to play Foden there. If we can find out some information about Foden potentially playing in the middle and he's being available, then I want to keep him. And for that reason, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to make a transfer because I cannot assume that I'm going to take out Foden. I can't assume that I'm going to. If I'm taking out Foden, I'm leaving it very, very late and I'm getting as much information as possible if I'm taking out Foden. When in doubt, usually when in doubt, you do nothing. That's the kind of situation. I need to find out what's going on with Grealish and De Bruyne. How bad is Foden's injury? Is he training? You guys watching this video probably know some of this stuff by now, depending on when you're watching it. So with more information we get, the more of a strong opinion we can make on whether Foden is worth keeping or not. Now, if I were to take out Foden, there are 2 players on my mind. And the first player is Jarrod Bowen. He's a player I've been targeting for a long, long time. I've just kind of been waiting for those fixtures to pick up. I am wondering if to go on Bowen ahead of this Brighton game could be quite nice. We know Bowen's rested. We know that he is going to be one of West Ham's primary attackers. In the kind of the absence of Antonio's goals, Bowen has really stepped up in this West Ham team as one of the primary goal scorers. So really, really nice and really creative player as well, taking lots of shots. Phenomenal. Really, really nice. And potential to play as a striker when if Antonio is rested as well. So yeah, lots to like about Bowen. I want him for the long term. Other option is maybe to go for James Maddison. Now we like James Maddison when he's in these veins of form. He's a really good price right now, Maddison. I think he's 6.6 million, and he's just found this rich vein of form. Not just from the Premier League game that you saw at the weekend, where he looked pretty good, you know, creating chances. You know, he got that little poacher's effort goal as well, didn't he? Picking up the ball, running in behind the defender, and poaching that goal. But he also scored in the Europa League, the week before that as well. So all in all, maybe we've got a situation where Maddison has got this vein of form, that has that confidence. He's going to go for a little run and then he'll inevitably drop off again. If he is, then maybe a nice short-term pick would be to go for Maddison. A really nice run of Leicester fixtures there. So yeah, potentially could do that as well. If Foden doesn't look good, and then maybe switch Maddison to Bowen as my slightly longer-term option a few weeks down the line. That is an option as well, and an option that could go pretty well. Particularly with Tielemans being out as well at the moment. That's going to give even more reason for Maddison to provide the creativity in that Leicester side. So particularly if they're playing a central attacking midfielder, who else is going to play in there really? So yeah, there we go. That's kind of the options of players that I'm considering bringing in for Foden, depending on the information. But we'll assume Foden is fine until we hear otherwise, because I don't want to make assumptions. I really don't want to make assumptions. But there we go, guys. We'll do captains quickly. Salah captain, no surprise there, guys. I think Jota, you could go for captain. But, if you're going to captain a Liverpool attacker, you may as well just make it Salah. There's no point messing about there. And we'll put the vice captain on Kane as well, I think, just because I know for sure he's going to start. He's a good safety option, a safe backup option. If Salah wasn't to start for whatever reason, we know Kane is a pretty reliable backup option. If the Liverpool game is cancelled somehow for whatever reason, you got a vice captain for a different game. So that's kind of why I'm thinking of going for Kane. He's just probably the most reliable premium player who could actually get something from that game. Not that he's done much in other game weeks, but we'll see, guys. We'll see. So there you go. There we have it. There's my team pending the Foden situation. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I didn't realise how long it was, but you know, with less videos to talk about less videos to make in one game week, I kind of have to cram more information into less videos in a way. So yeah, kind of difficult, but you know, we've got to get as much information out there as possible in the short period of time. But guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like. It really helps out the channel, and of course, subscribe if you're new around here as well. Massively appreciate that. Aside from that, guys, this will be the last video for Game Week 14. We'll do a Game Week 14 deadline stream, of course, tomorrow, so make sure you're around for that as we answer some final questions. But there we go, guys. That is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.